rich man's wife became sick, and when she felt better and was drawing near, she called her only daughter beside her and said, "Dear child, remain pious and good, and then our dear God will always protect you, and I will look down on you from heaven and be near you." With this, she closed her eyes and died. The girl went to her mother's grave every day and wept, and she remained pious and good. When winter came, the snow spread a white cloth over the grave, and when the spring sun had removed it again, the man took himself another wife. The wife brought 2 daughters into the house they were beautiful, with fair faces but evil dark hearts. Times soon grew very bad for the poor stepchild. "Why should that stupid goose sit in the parlor with us?" they said. "If she wants to eat bread, then she'll have to earn it. Out with this kitchen maid." They took her beautiful clothes away from her, dressed her like an old gray smock, and gave her wooden shoes. "Just look at the proud princess, how decked out she is," they shouted and laughed as they led her into the kitchen. There she had to do hard work from morning until evening, get up before daybreak, carry water, make the fire, cook, and wash. Besides this, the sister did everything imaginable to hurt her. They made fun of her, scattered peas and lentils into the ashes for her, so that she had to sit and pick them out again. In the evening, when she had worked herself weary, there was no bed for her. Instead, she had to sleep by the earth in the ashes, and because she always looked dusty and dirty, they called her Cinderella. One day it happened that the father was going to the fair, and he had asked his 2 daughters what he should bring back for them. "A beautiful dress," said one. "Pearls and jewels," said other. "And you, Cinderella," he said, "what do you want?" "Father, break off for me the first twig that brushes against your hat on your way home." So he bought beautiful dresses and pearls for his 2 daughters. On his way home, when he was riding through a green thicket, a hazel twig brushed against him and knocked off his hat. Then he broke off the twig and took it with him. Arriving home, he gave his stepdaughters the things they had asked for, and he gave Cinderella the twig from the hazel bush. Cinderella thanked him, went to her mother's grave, and planted the branch on it. And she wept so much that her tears fell upon it and watered it. It grew to become a beautiful tree. Cinderella went to this tree 3 times every day, and beneath it she wept and prayed. A white bird came to the tree every time, and whenever she expressed a wish, the bird would throw down to her what she had wished for. Now it happened that our king proclaimed a festival that was to last 3 days. All the beautiful young girls in the land were invited, so that his son select a bride for himself. When the 2 stepsisters that they had been invited, they were in high spirits. They called Cinderella, saying, "Comb out our hair for us, brush our shoes, and fasten our buckles. We are going to a festival at the king's castle." Cinderella obeyed but wept. She too would like to have a dance with them. Cinderella obeyed but wept because she too would have liked to go to the dance with them. She begged her stepmother to allow her. "You, Cinderella?" she said. "You, all covered with dust and dirt, you want to go to the festival? You have neither clothes nor shoes, and yet you want to dance." However, Cinderella kept asking. The stepmother finally said, I have scattered a bowl of lentils into the ashes for you. If you can pick them out again in 2 hours, then you may go with us. The girl went through the back door into the garden and called out, You tame pigeons, you turtle doves, and all you birds beneath the sky, come help me gather. The good ones go into the pot, the bad ones go into your crop. 2 white pigeons came in through the kitchen window, and then the turtle doves, and finally all the birds beneath the sky came whirling and swarming in, and it lit around the ashes. The pigeons nodded their heads as they began to pick, 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 and all the others also began to pick, pick. They were finished, and they all flew out again. The girl came to the bowl. The stepmother was happy, thinking now she would have allowed to go to the festival with them. But the stepsister said, No, Cinderella, you have no clothes and you don't know how to dance. Cinderella began to cry when the stepmother said, You may go if you're able to pick out 2 bowls of lentils from the ashes in 1 hour. Thinking to herself, she'll never be able to do that, she went to the back door in the car and says, You tame pigeons. But the stepsister said, It's no use, you're not coming with us, for you have no clothes and you don't know how to dance. We would be ashamed of you. With this she turned her back on Cinderella and hurried away her 2 proud daughters, now that no one else was at home. Cinderella went to her mother's graves beneath the hazel tree and cried out, Shake and quiver, little tree, throw gold and silver down to me. When the bird threw gold and silver, a gold and silver dress down to her, and slippers embroidered with silk and silver, she quickly put on the dress and went to the festival. Her stepsisters and stepmother did not recognize her. They thought she must be a foreign princess, for she looked so beautiful in the gold dress. They never once thought it was Cinderella, for they thought she was sitting at home in the dirt, looking for the lentils in the ashes. The prince approached her, took her by her hand, and danced with her. Furthermore, he would dance with no one else. He never let go of her hand, and whenever anyone else came and asked for her to dance, he would say, She is my dance partner. She danced until evening, and then wanted to go home, but the prince said, I will go along and escort you, for he wanted to see whom the beautiful girl belonged. Whenever she eluded him and jumped into the pigeon coop. The prince waited until her father came, and then he told him that the young girl had jumped into the pigeon coop. The old man thought, could it be Cinderella? He had them bring. When she arrived at the festival, in this dress, everyone was astonished. They did not know what to say. The prince danced only with her. Whenever anyone else asked her to dance, he would say, She is my dance partner. When evening came, Cinderella wanted to leave, and the prince tried to escort her, but she ran away from him so quickly that he could not follow. The prince, however, set a trap. He had the entire stairway smeared with pitch, so that when she ran down the stairs, her left slipper stuck in the pitch. The prince picked it up. It was small and dainty and pure gold. The next morning he went down to the man and said, No one shall be my wife except the one who forfeits this golden shoe. The 2 sisters were happy to hear this, for they had pretty feet. With the mother standing by, the older one took the shoe to her bedroom to try it on. She could not get the big toe into it, for the shoe was too small, but her mother gave her a knife and said, Cut off your toe. When you're queen, you'll no longer have to go on foot. The girl cut off her toe, forced her foot into the shoe, swallowed the pain, and went out. The prince took her on his horse as his bride and rode away with her. However, they had to ride past the past the grave, and there on the hazel tree the two pigeons began crying out, "Rodigo, Rodigo, there is blood in the shoe. The shoe is too tight, the bride is not right." Then he looked at the foot and saw the blood running. He turned his horse around and the false bride home, again saying that she was not the right one. And the other sister should try. She went to her bedroom and went all their toes into the shoe, but her heel was too large. Gave her a knife and said, "Cut off your heel, and when you're a queen you'll no longer have to go on foot." She cut off her heel and forced her foot into the shoe, swallowed the pain, and went out. The prince, he took her on his horse as bride and rode away with her. When they passed the hazel tree, the two pigeons were sitting in it, and they cried out, "Rodigo, Rodigo, there is blood in the shoe is too tight, the bride is not right." He looked down at her foot and saw the blood was running out of her shoe, and how it had stained her white stocking all red. He turned his horse around and took the false bride home again. "This is not the right one either. Don't you have another daughter?" "No," the man said. "There is only a "No," said the man, "there is only deformed little Cinderella from my first wife, but you cannot possibly be the bride." The prince told him to send her to him, but the mother answered, "Oh, she is much too dirty, she cannot be seen." But the prince insisted on it. They had to call Cinderella. She first washed her hands and face clean, and then she bowed down before the prince, who gave her the golden shoe. She sat down on the footstool and pulled her foot out, the heavy wooden shoe, and put it into the slipper, and it fitted perfectly. When she stood up, the prince looked into her face, and he recognized the beautiful girl who had danced with him. She cried out, "She is my bride." And the stepmother and two sisters were horrified and turned pale with anger. The prince, however, took Cinderella into his house and rode away with her. As they passed by the hazel tree, the two white pigeons cried out, "Rodigo, Rodigo, no blood in the shoe's not too tight, the bride is right." After they had cried out, they both flew down and lit on Cinderella's shoulders, one on the right, one on the left, and remained sitting there. When the wedding with the prince was held, the two false sisters came, wanting to gain favor with Cinderella to share their good fortune. When the bridal couple walked into the church, the older sister walked on their right side and the younger sister on their left, and the pigeons pecked out one eye from each of them. Afterwards, as they came out of the church, the older one was on the left side and the younger one was on the right side, and the pigeons pecked out the eye from each of them, and thus, for their wickedness and falsehood, they were punished with blindness for as long as they lived.